KSRA News, Traffic, and Weather on the Nines. This is Les Driver, the Triple Team Chopper for your ride home. Looking southbound on Main Street Freeway, you've got a speed limit ride all the way to Andretti Boulevard, where you've got brake lights and an accident off to the right causing minor delays all the way to 3rd Street. Candy Crash?
Candy Crash here, looking at your downtown ride, and it's all fine through 4th Street, but there's a big pile up at the Midtown exit ramp. There's loads of spectator delay while emergency crews untangle an overturned car in the center lane. There's a car fire on the right shoulder at 6th and Hill Streets, and fire trucks are on the scene to put out the blaze. Take the WeatherTech Bridge as an alternate route. Monica?
Monica Santa Monica here, and it's bumper to bumper all the way up the Ray Hall Freeway due to pedestrian incident at Corkscrew Court. Ambulances are on the scene and it may be a while before the road is cleared. People who live in infield estates can expect a long drive home. The northbound traffic at the Rainy Street exit has heavier than usual volume for your ride home. You may want to leave a little early. Les?
Hovering over Interstate 10, traffic is backed up for miles for fans arriving early for the big GT3 race this evening. I would avoid the west side entirely as the race is a sellout. Once you get past the off-ramp before 11th, it's a smooth ride all the way home. Triple Team Traffic is sponsored by Track Racer and Go Setups. Track Racer and Go, a great combination when you want to get comfortable and go fast. Back to our KSRA News Studio for more news and weather.
Welcome back to the beginning of another Sim Racing Alliance season. It's been a long break, and we're back.
But it's been quite a long break, and I think you, me, and everybody involved with tonight's action is super excited to get going.
So they got a straight fight the rest of the night. He's going to have to make a move. That's a Punterino.
Serious pressure from Boostra. Trying to switch on the inside. Sweeney goes on the inside for the defense. Oh my goodness, right in between.
He's going to dive to the inside of both of them. They're going to go 3 wide corner. And we're off and away for SRA.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to another action-packed night of racing here with SRA in our Division 1, Round 7 here at Laguna Seca. Our Season 9 is getting towards the end. We're Round 7 out of 8, and after a quick Christmas break next week, we will wrap things up with Round 8 shortly after that, and we are excited to bring you the action tonight. With me in the booth, as always, I have Andrew Anderson and Maxie Poe. Andrew, what are you seeing tonight?
I am California dreaming on such a winter's day. It's going to be great. It's going to be a fun race because I think the theme of the night is traffic. I think it's going to be backed up all over the place. And until you get off that off-ramp, it's going to be a real mess. Brake lights all over town.
And Maxie?
Andrew, I couldn't agree with you more with the traffic jam here tonight, especially leading up to Corkscrew Corner, where these drivers entered this corner blind, they're uphill, and then they are going to drop almost 40 foot without even knowing where their car is going to be placed. I've often heard people say there's a tree, and if you aim for that tree off in the distance, you'll be fine through the corkscrew.
Yep. Aim for the tree. That's not often something you want to hear in your race car. But with that, let's take a look at our track map tonight. We are, as we said, in Laguna Seca, California, in the United States here, and we got a 3.6 kilometer track. That's just over 2 miles, 2.2 miles around. 11 turns crammed in here, with section 1 taking in the first hairpin, which is the classic Laguna Seca hairpin, and then a couple of sweep right turns that are easy to lose time in if you don't get your line and your entry just perfectly. Moving quickly into section 2, turn 5, a tighter than you think left-hander, which leads down to turn 6, the kink, headed up the hill into the corkscrew that Maxie just talked to us about. Definitely the ultimate corner, and the one that everybody thinks about when they think about Laguna Seca. And after that, just a couple more bends and one tight hairpin at turn 11 back onto the front straight, driving toward the start-finish line. Andrew, where do you, if you had to overtake a guy here, where would you try it?
I would probably try to overtake, probably heading up the hill on the Ray Hall Straight, heading toward the corkscrew, because everybody brakes a little differently there. And if you get turn 6 right, you can get a lot more momentum than the other guy. But I don't like turn 6 at all. That's not where I get all the momentum. So I'm not the one doing the passing. So there you go.
Yeah, it is tough getting out of there just right. Maxie, what about you?
I would definitely be putting pressure on the corkscrew, maybe feint a move into there and get the driver ahead of me just a little bit unsettled for the rest of the lap and really pile the pressure on in turn 11 there at the hairpin going down the main straightaway. If I can get him or her a little wide on exit there out onto the marbles, they're going to have a terrible run down to technically turn 2, but it's really turn 1 here. And it's a nice section where you can maybe make an attempt around the outside, but if you can get on the inside of somebody and turn 2, it's pretty much game over and the position will be yours.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, it's fantastic. There are some overtaking opportunities on this track, more than the previous tracks we've seen, but it is still pretty tight out there. And with that, we're also going to look at our driver standings, which are extremely tight as well. Up front, we've got Travis Nordstrom with a 64-point lead. Michael Manning trailing him by those 64 points. And Ed Kerstetter, after falling with the last 2 races not being his best, and he's down to 3rd place, 71 points behind our leader. So I believe, Andrew, you have some movers and shakers for our leaderboard.
Yeah, well, we have it on the screen here. So what we've got, we'll go real fast. It's kind of like a lightning round here. So it's like in golf tournaments. The next to last round is often called moving day, because it's the round where golfers move up and down on the leaderboard to try to get in position, to make the charge to the final round. So I figured this is race 7 of 8, so I figure it's kind of like moving day for us. So with that, here's the movers and shakers from last week to this week to get you kind of up to speed with what's really happening, from week to week, let you know what's happening on the standings. So here we go. Moving, we're going to cover those that have moved down the standings first. And we're going to do nothing but overall standings and not break it up between gold and silver. So here we go. Last week, the biggest mover at the top of the leaderboard was Ed Kerstetter, who moved down to 3rd, and he let Michael Manning take over 2nd place from him because he had a poor race by his standards last week. Jeff Spangler lost 2 spots down to 9th. Brooker Quigg moved down 4 spots to 13th. Estefano Pereira lost 5 spots down to 15th. Ryan Walker moved down 3 to 24th. Mike Vasquez moved down 5 spots down to 27th. Felipe Ernesto Vecchini moved down 6 to 19th. Now here's somebody that didn't move at all last week. That's because he had nowhere to go. Travis Nordstrom stayed on top of the leaderboard yet again with another win. I think that's 4 out of 6 for him. So dude got nowhere to go if you're going to keep winning. So with that, here's the big gainers from last week. Merton Mutchie jumped up 4 spots to 20th. Michael Griffith moved up 3 spots to 11th. Peter O'Brien moved up 2 spots to number 8. And Fazli Majid, you know what he likes to do? He likes to move it. He likes to move it. He likes to move it. He moved up 5 whole spots up to 21st. Other moves, Jerry Mercer, Travis Robinson, Max Simons, Dan Good, Timothy Flonger all moved up 1 spot last week at Zolder. That's it. That's who's moving on moving day. Let's see who makes more moves. Round 7. Here we go.
No doubt. Let's take a look at our team standings real quick. Our leading team still out front, Travis Nordstrom and Michael Griffith, with a fairly big lead, but still anybody's game there for the Drivers' Championship, depending on how these guys finish in the last 2 races here. So they're out front in the Sharks Comic Racing team. This is Beer, close behind Spangler and Kerstetter, with Madhouse Racing. And Drive Bimmer Vroom in 3rd place with Mercer and Nixon. So they're only 1 point out of 2nd place. So that's our tightest battle. It is a pretty big leap back to 4th place at that point. But the rest of the standings are there as you see them. And with that, we have our silver drivers out on track warming up. And let's give you guys a view. Here we are on the race page. We have some drivers on track. Let's see if we can get you a good view of them. And see who is making pace out on the track. I thought I had our silver drivers highlighted already, but there we go. Taking a
I'm
quick
anxious
look
to
at
see if
Ryder.
these guys can get into the 21s here, being D1 drivers.
Yeah, so taking a look at the leaderboards today, the lap times were getting down in the 21s for Coadromo was actually the fastest guy on the D1 leaderboard, fastest guy overall on the leaderboard, actually. But I know people like Travis Nordstrom are not going to let that stand. And so there's going to be a good, decent fight for all that stuff. And we'll get to be a front row seat for it. As our drivers get warmed up here for their silver laps, we do have some of them already completing their first lap. Fazla Majid was out there to complete his first lap in his Aston Martin. He actually put it on provisional pole, but very quickly replaced by Mr. Walker here, who just beat him out by a little bit. We're running in the 23s right now, but as we were talking, we expect to see much lower than that. The other talk, besides the traffic for this week's race, is the temperature. The temperatures, as you can see on your screen there, are astronomically high. We are next to the surface of the sun as far as being out here in the desert, and with a 46-degree track temperature, boy, they don't have to spend a lot of time warming up those tires, do they, Andrew?
Not a bit. I think that in qualifying, I think the third lap will probably be the money lap, and after that, I think if you kind of close your ducks off a little bit, and if you're trying to set a bit of a hero lap, I think number 3 is the one. After that, I think you've already spent it. It's just too much pressure on the tires. So I think you might even see some guys come in and pit and re-rack it and do it again.
Yeah, with a 10-minute qualifying stint, it is possible to get 2 3-lap rounds in if you're quick about it. So that may be a strategy.
Yeah, here we go. We're already under 123. Max Simons comes in at a 995, and he won't be the last one.
Quickly, Durance replaces him on provisional pole with a 122.77.
Those times are going to start tumbling down.
No question. We will see much faster than that as our gold drivers get started as well.
So as we have 5 minutes left to go for our silver drivers, big question with the temperature being so hot, you want to take tires? You can take tires anytime you want to outside of the first 2 and last 2 minutes. And if you take tires, it means you don't have to carry as much fuel to begin with. Cost you 26.5 seconds. So, I want to know, any tire takers tonight?
I'm curious about it. It's the thing is, it's the only reason I would see to take tires tonight. And again, I'm not a D1 driver, and I know these guys push the tires way harder than I do. But the only reason that it would be feasible, really, to take tires is because the car is actually becoming undrivable. As far as it's just getting dangerous to stay out there on them, which can happen. I mean, I did about 20 minutes on my race setup earlier tonight, and boy, those rear tires started feeling like melted butter. And that could just be me overdriving the car because I'm not that good at it. But I don't know. It's gonna be here or there on that. I don't think it's gonna be a time gaining thing, because if you work it out, compared to the 3 seconds stopped you do for a splash and dash, that 30 seconds is almost impossible to overcome with raw lap time.
Yep.
And apologies, folks. I think Maxie is having a little trouble with his microphone again tonight, so hopefully we can get that fixed and hear some more input from him. But right now he is just struggling with that a little bit, having some technical difficulties here in the booth.
So we are here to hold it down while Max is getting himself up and going.
All right, I think we've got it figured out here.
Hey, look out! Hell, we can hear you, Maxie. All right.
Yeah, I was actually in the process of resetting here. I kept seeing my mic ping up, and I didn't want the viewers at home to have to listen to any background noise here, so I was trying to be respectful of them. get that settled here for us. But these guys are already in the 122s, and I'm thinking right now
590.
Walker's up 4/10 right now, and he's at a 22.6. I think these silver drivers have a very good shot at getting in those 121s.
Oh, wow. You got a 122.26 out of Walker right there. And now he decides to pull it over. He does still have 2 minutes left in the silver driver qualifying time. So that he might have just decided, that's the best I'm going to get. I'm going to call it a day. But we do have Lehman in second place, chasing him well he's about 2/10 up on his lap right now. That would not take the pole away from Walker, but it would probably cement his position there in second original position.
Yeah, I bet
If
Walker.
I may, could we get a helicam view of this entire Lehman lap here? I just want the viewers at home to see Corkscrew and really understand this elevation drop that these drivers are having to deal with tonight and how unstable the car gets through there.
Yeah, we'll follow Lehman around on this lap. We got the helicam on him now, so let's see if he can improve his time anymore. He is now about just less than 2/10 off the pole after completing that last lap. So it doesn't look like he will improve this lap, unfortunately. He's lost quite a bit of time.
Hey, if you take a look at turn 3 there, where he just came through, he got a few seconds here before he gets to the corkscrew. He comes up to 6 now. You can get the back of the car real light there when you're floating it in to turn 3, and he just did it, and he almost went around. I want to see somebody else. Here we go. Here you go, Maxie.
Just as you came up the hill there, you're completely blind under braking. You don't know if you're making the corner until you get to the bottom of it. And these drivers just having to be absolutely committed tonight cannot be underestimated.
No question. It's a tricky corner no matter what car you're driving and what level of driving you're at. It's definitely one of those corners of all time. It looks like he took that corner wide on purpose to try to get a better run down the straight to give it one more go, as he is going to cross start-finish line with more than 10 minutes left. So that allows him to make one more attempt at a qualifying lap, and we will see if he can give it the beans.
Let's see. Ryder's up a good bit. It'll put him in the top 5 if he holds what he's got. Otherwise, not a lot of movers up and down right now in the silver category. I think they have done what they're going to do.
Schwartz has a pretty decent lap going as well. He's up about 2/10. That'll move him possibly into the top 10 if he continues to improve a little bit. Ryder definitely up. He's up over 3/10 now. Lehman here that we have on screen is not improving his lap, but he hasn't thrown it all away yet either. He's not down far enough. Now he's about a 10th down. It's going to be tricky through the corkscrew and the final corners to make up that amount of time. So doesn't look like he will challenge for the provisional pole, but a provisional pole time of 1:22.26 is nothing to scoff at, folks.
We'll release the hounds. Here come the gold drivers.
Our gold drivers are taking the track. We'll finish out our lap here with Lehman as he goes for the final run down into the final hairpin, and it does not look like he will improve his time. So he will stay in the provisional second place, and we will flip over to our gold drivers as they take the track here. We're focused on Robinson and in his Lamborghini.
A big thing of note here too about Laguna Seca is there is no corner where you can gain a massive amount of time. But boy, can you lose a massive amount of time.
It's like the goalie in hockey. He can't win the game, but he could sure as heck lose it for you.
Yes, you can.
You can drop a half second from the top of the Rahal straight to the bottom of the corkscrew in any given lap.
You get the kink wrong, run a little wide, don't carry enough speed.
The banking of whole second right there. Yep.
That turn 6 is going to be interesting watching these guys trying not to run wide, because it's going to be a lot of wide running there. These guys are so wide open that 6 is going to be a problem tonight.
Let's take a ride on with our fastest lap setter throughout the week here, Coedromo. He was atop the leaderboard last I checked. It could have been updated in the final moments before we started going live here, but He set a 1:21.8 on the leaderboard in these super hot temperatures. That is extremely quick. Let's just ride on board with him in his Audi, as he is up quite a bit on his current lap right now. So this is his first attempt at a hot lap, and we'll see where he places himself. Down the hill out of the corkscrew into this left-hander. And then the banking here is where you really have to trust it. You really have to know what your car is capable of, holding on to those corners, get on the throttle early. And then this is about the flattest corner on the track. The final hairpin here has no real banking to it compared to the rest of the track. Super easy to wash wide, get the tail loose, and not get a good run down the front straight. As he completes his lap, he will put himself in a 12th place provisionally, but I'm sure he's going to improve from there. Robinson did a little better than that, moving himself into a provisional 6th place. And of course, Nordstrom, our usual character, he is up in 4th place already on his very first hot lap with a 1:22.5.
Wow.
With the Porsche showing its speed again.
How's your out lap? 22.5.
Yeah.
Go away.
My banker lap is a 1:22.5. Jeez, come on.
Yeah, it's my throwaway. I'm just get the tires heated up. I'll be better in a little bit. Give me a second.
Yep. Mercer jumps over Nordstrom there as well in the BMW and sets just a slightly faster time. And and Ed Kerstetter, coming back hard from last week, sets it out front real quick with a 1:22.22. So a bunch of twos there in his lap time, but good enough for a provisional pole now. Extremely fast lap for his first lap.
I triple deuce.
Yeah. I had it on good authority that he was back this week and he was speedy in practice.
Yeah, that's good. Good to see him getting back on the pony and doing well again. Nordstrom was way up on his Delta and then lost a lot of it and is now up a little bit again. So he's maybe trying a little bit different line through his corner back there. Let's get back out of the car here and take a look around. Oh, Nixon comes out and takes it over Kerstetter by just...
Flaminger.
Jeez.
Flaminger's going to set pole here. He's up almost 8/10 right now.
Let's take a look over it. Oh, there he goes.
There he is. Look at that.
Jumps on top with a pole lap of a 1:22.19. And we are getting dangerously close to those 1:21s, folks. I'm willing to bet we will see at least one in the 1:21 laps.
Not even a tenth between the top four right now. The quality of these D1 drivers never disappoint.
Here comes the 21s, guys.
Yep, no question. They are on track for some 21s already. Robinson setting a faster lap. He's already at 1:22.6, and he's about 0.3 up on that right now. Kerstetter not improving his lap currently. It looks like he's not even on a lap currently from what I'm seeing. He must have gone and gotten some fresh tires again, so he is using the strategy that Andrew mentioned, or maybe he threw it off the track. I don't know, but it may be that he knows, hey, I'm going to get one hot lap on the tires, and then I'm going to go and get some new ones.
Yep. Yeah, I think he's been going for a shot of 2 laps, and that puts him about 9 or 10 liters of gas in the at most to start with. Probably 9 liters is all he's got in the car. So, yeah, he's light. But if he can get an out lap of 2 laps out of it, that's smoking.
Yeah, and then Nordstrom jumps to
shots in the gun.
Yeah, Nordstrom jumps to the provisional pole again here with a 1:22.13. So just barely beating out Flaminger for the pole position so far. We will see if anyone can get higher than that. Nixon is on another fast lap, though. He's about 0.2 up, and that would put him at a 1:21 even, or sorry, a 1:22 even. So darn close to getting into those 1:21s right now.
They got 2 solid laps left of time. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of improving after this next one, except for maybe Ed Kerstetter, because he's the only one that's got a fresh bullet in the gun.
Yeah.
It's too hot.
Looks like he is starting his hot lap now. Nixon, unfortunately, has lost all the time he had gained as he went through the corkscrew there. Flaminger, though, is up on his lap and he has a chance to take it back onto the pole here, as he is up coming into the final couple of corners here. If he can maintain this, he will stick it on pole. Oh, he's losing some time coming up to the final hairpin onto the front straight.
Oh,
if he
my.
gets, wow, he's
There
up.
he goes.
But can he get
Oh,
a good run out? He went too hot
well,
in. He had it, and he knew he had it too. Oh, that's rough. We commentator cursed that one a little bit, maybe.
That's your fault. You
Yeah.
did that to him.
I'm so sorry.
But that's exactly where you can, come race time, get somebody to make a mistake. And we just saw how much it cost him. He was up almost 2.5 tenths.
Yeah.
And
Michael
he lost
Manning.
all of that.
Michael Manning just made an appearance on the front row.
Yes, he sure did. Threw his Honda up there in second position.
5,000th of a second. That is.
It's an eternity, ain't it?
And Kerstetter coming to the
In V1
final
it is.
corner. Yeah.
Well, if you're
Kirsten-
in second, it is.
Kerstetter not able to improve his lap time here, as he tried the fresh tire trick. And he will get one more shot at it if he's going to do another lap right now. We'll see if he can improve.
He's got 2 shots at it.
Yeah, he could very well make. Yeah, absolutely. And Vasquez down here, he's up quite a bit on his previous best at a 122.5. He could move up into the top 10 very easily.
And he's getting better and better. Better and better.
There you go. Nixon to pole.
There he went. Very good. With a 122.08. So perilously close to the 121 lap time that we thought we might see.
Somebody give me a 21.
Somebody's going to get it. Manning's actually on target for one right now.
Here we go. Manny's gonna do it.
He's coming on to the front straight with about just over a tenth in hand.
No.
He will not get the 121, but he will get the provisional pole at 122.04. Vasquez has lost control of the car in his attempt to get into the 121s. Unfortunate. Coadromo trying to put in another lap here. As I said, I did see him in the 121s during our practice laps throughout the week, so he could still pull one out. Kerstetter is up a little bit. No, he's way down on his lap. My apologies.
Manning just put in a quality lap. Almost got in the top 5.
Yeah, and then Manning binned it there. It looks like he called it a day with the 122.04. Yep. That may be good enough for pole. We will find out. Mercer on a good lap right now. And so is Kerstetter now, has brought all that time back. Oh, I think he started his next lap now. So, okay, so this is it. Whoever's on their lap now is on their final lap. And we have, it looks like, about 5 or 6 cars out there still making an attempt to try to better their time.
Check out Ed Kerstetter.
0.2 up. We are watching him now as he throws it through the kink, going up the hill to the corkscrew. He's still holding that 2/10 over his previous best lap. If he can continue to carry the amount of time he has up right now, he will take the pole position, and he will take it with a 122 flat.
Here we go. 3 corners to go.
Ride with him here as he throws it into the final hairpin. Sure enough,
11
gets a good run out onto the green stuff. Oh, he's got it, folks. He is going to put the 121 in for the night, the 121.89 for the pole position.
Blackjack.
And it is nice to see a McLaren for selfish reasons at the front of the field.
And Griffin puts in a barn-burning lap on his last attempt, jumping all the way to 5th place, right behind Coadromo, who did put in a 122.09. Boy, look at that. Tight standings at the top, folks. Your top 10 is separated by
15.
Yeah. Very, very tight. Extremely entertaining to watch. And I can't wait to see what the race brings as we get ready for that. We are going to do a little grid walk for you folks. Hop out of Kerstetter's McLaren here. Good to see a McLaren back on the front row. As we check things out here for the you got us Maxie for the walk down here.
All right, I need you to go a little slower than the half a second these top 15 are separated by here tonight. In pole position, we had Kerstetter with that 121 lap, followed closely by Michael Manning here in his Honda. We have Nixon in third place in his BMW, Coach Romo starting fourth in his Audi. Moving down to our two beautiful Shark liveried Porsches, we have Griffith in fifth and Nordstrom in sixth place. Vasquez starting seventh in his BMW. Flemanger here in his McLaren starting eighth. Mercer in his BMW starting ninth. Specht in the Mercedes starting 10th. Walker in the BMW starting 11th, while Robinson and O'Brien in the Lamborghini is starting 12th and 13th. Moving down to Wilson in 14th in his Audi. We have Spangler starting 15th in his McLaren, followed by Lehman in his Mercedes starting 16th. Dan Cran in his Audi starting 17th. We have another McLaren of Louis starting 18th. We have Mr. Sir in his Aston Martin starting 19th. Crown and Ryder in their McLarens are starting 20th and 21st, followed by Simmons in his Porsche. Fazli Mazid, who likes to move it, in 23rd. Let's see if he can move up through the field tonight. We have Dominic Durant in his Audi. Carpenter in 25th in his McLaren. Rust in the Mercedes starting 26th. Williams in the BMW is starting 27th, followed by a trio of Lamborghinis of Diaz, Schwartz, and Steffiak in 28th, 29th, and 30th. We have Velez in 31st. And rounding out the field tonight, we have Good in his BMW.
That's your field, folks. As we get ready to start this race tonight, let's take a good look down the front straight of Laguna Seca, where we will see these D1 drivers go toe-to-toe with each other for the next hour, and we will see who prevails on this very tight, very twisty, very hot desert track at the WeatherTech Raceway.
They're rolling. We're about to have a race, everybody. Strap in. Get a cool drink because it's going to be hot. I mean, hot. Like a hot tub hot.
As we get an overhead view of our hairpin corner that many drivers will be trying to overtake in at the start of the race. I have been told it is against the rules to dive into the pit lane and use that to overtake in the first corner, as I'm sure it would be in a real race as well.
It's only illegal if you get caught.
It's true.
They got
you
eyes
didn't hear that
everywhere.
here, folks.
You know, I guess as we're watching the overhead view of the Andretti hairpin, there's a question on how tight do you want to take that? It's a double apex. Do you really want to diamond that off, or do you want to cut it tight? I want to see what these D1 drivers do, because I'll bet there's some different theories on how to get around fast.
I couldn't agree more, Andrew. I think that is going to be the prime overtaking opportunity, because you can go on the outside there, square the corner off, get a great exit. You can dive on the inside, make it more of a point and turn. It's going to be incredible to see what these guys do to get around people and generate that lap time.
There's more than one way to skin this cat.
Someone we haven't talked too much about, Gomer Wilson, had a fantastic result last weekend, starting in 14th today, and see where he can place his Audi. Spangler, who Kerstetter's teammate, so a little bit slower in 15th place than Kerstetter was able to place it tonight. Dan Cran back in his Audi. And Mr. Sir, those Astons really seem to be struggling for Majid and Sir on this track, 20th and 23rd place. That's not going to help their bid for the team championship. But we do see the usual host of characters out at the front as they are getting ready to start here, going 2 by 2. As they get down to the final corners, we will focus back on your leaders, folks, and get ready to go racing here for round 7 at Laguna Seca.
I want to watch those Aston Martins in that turbocharged V8. I think you're onto something. But here you go. You got the call that looks like Noah's Ark coming down the last hairpin at turn 11. Make us call, baby.
All right, they arrange themselves 2 by 2 on the front streets, and we are ready for the rolling start here at Laguna Seca as they come to the line. And Kerstetter is still holding them back, and he's off now, and off they go. with Kerstetter jumping right in front of Manning and immediately taking the racing line away from him. As he goes defensive into the first corner, though, takes the inside line, makes sure Manning doesn't have any ideas about taking that lead away from him, and they're off. Looks like a clean start down the rest of the field. I don't see any yellow flags on our telemetry as we continue to see some of the cars in 4th and 5th place battle for position. The Porsche's back there trying to make a bid of Griffith. And Dromo, he was able to hold on to his 4th place, although he was challenged very heavily by Griffith there for a moment. And as we dive into the brakes on the left-hander here, and then the next corner of going up to the kink, we will see them head up the track, up the hill, towards the corkscrew for the first time in this hour-long race.
Lehman was off and has gone to the back of the pack.
Oh,
It's that same thing, turn 3, what I mentioned in the qualifying, where he got a little squirrely. That's where it happened again to him. We saw it. It happened to him again.
Very easy to lose control in those two left-hand corners there, where the banking, you have to trust the banking, but if you get it wrong with your speed just a little bit, you are going to get wide, and it is going to be a disastrous result. As we've seen Specht here dive into the pit first lap, he decided he's going to get his pit stop out of the way immediately rather than running in the traffic. We see some other cars, Rust as well. We see Steffiak, good, all dive into the pit lane. Sir, Carpenter, and Lehman all decided to get their pit stop out of the way. As our leaders continue down the track, Manning is keeping that gap extremely tight to Kerstetter and letting him know that he is not going to give up easy this evening.
We got 7 drivers in the pits, including Lehman, who has some damage. So that answers that question, doesn't it?
Yeah, I would say those guys are definitely not taking tires. They've not even really left themselves that option, right?
And they're managing the other story of the day, which is traffic.
Yeah, get rid of the traffic.
Get rid of the traffic, baby.
Carpenter is dropping back as well. Looks like some more guys headed to the pit lane here, or headed out of the pit lane. Oh, and he passes him in the pit lane as he goes around Mr. Sir. It looked like Mr. Sir outbraked himself a little bit there. That hairpin is extremely tight at the end of that pit lane. And we've also been warned in our driver's briefings that if you mess that up, you are required to come back to that pit road. So you really don't want to mess that up. You can't just decide, I screwed it up, I'm going to go out on the track now.
Alrighty, while we have a slight break in the action here, we're going to bring up the replay of exactly what happened to Lehman, but let's wait here, see if Manning has a move here.
Let's take a look. He tries to get around the outside here at turn 1. Extremely difficult to overtake on the outside of turn 1, as you have a much longer way to go around. But boy, he definitely had some more speed under braking into that corner, didn't he?
He absolutely did. I thought for a second there he was going to be able to pinch Kerstetter to that apex and get a better run out of there, but it just didn't play out that way.
We have a 30-second penalty for Diaz. Not sure what that's for. Unfortunately, the game doesn't give us that information. Oh, that was the last... What's that?
That was last week.
Okay,
that
but
was a plus 3 penalty.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be in the game like this. He has to have another 30-second penalty in sim for some reason. So we...
It is bizarre because he hasn't came into the pit lane, so that's not a speeding in the pit lane penalty.
It was there on that was there on the formation laps. That was assigned by the stewards.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
They can do that.
Okay.
They can stick that to you before your race starts.
That's something new. I just learned something new. Thanks, Andrew.
Hey.
I think Manny's going to have another go here.
He sure is. No. Boy, he closed it up under braking. He had to take avoiding action there, which is going to cost him time down the front straight. Because he thought he was going to the back of Kerstetter, and I kind of thought he was too. But he still makes it up into turn 1. Boy, he is just making the brakes work on that Honda way better. We know the McLaren suffers under braking, and we are seeing the result of it here, folks.
Boy, Nixon just
lap here. We're going to look at what happened to Lehman here. We can see him here in his Mercedes, and as they come into turn 4, I believe it is, there's a check up in front of him, gets in the back of that Audi. Nowhere for anybody to go here.
Oh, couple things of carnage back there. It looked like was that Fazli Majid back there off the track a little bit too as well, it looked like. So we will see what he can make up his race after
it was
that.
actually Mr. Sir.
Oh, Mr. Sir,
who
okay.
was off the track there.
And that's he decided to pit as well. So I think that was a lot of times after you have an incident, even if it's not a terrible one, even if your car is not damaged, it just you kind of need a head reset. And hitting the pit lane is a good way to just be like, okay, cool, let me collect myself for a second, get back onto my headspace. Especially at this level, I mean, you got to have 100% focus the whole time. And if you're bothered by something that happened on the first lap, you got to take a second to let it go.
There's action everywhere. It is the Flonger's now in the pits.
Yeah, it looks like Wilson is also gaining a position off of that as Flomger goes to the pit lane. And he tumbles through the standings, definitely to make it up later. We got Mercer pretty close behind Vasquez here. We also, a little further back, have Walker in 10th position chasing Spangler. We got a pretty big train from about 15th to 18th here with Dan Cran, Simmons, Robinson, and Ryder all kind of forming a nice little train as they make their way through the middle of the track here.
Yeah, so we're racing at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Do we think these temperatures are going to get hotter, or are they going to start getting cooler? So once we get the tire pressures in the window, are they going to start going down?
I would say
I wonder if they are.
I would say the track temperature will not decrease because with this many cars running around it, the track temperature will go nothing but up. Most of the practice sessions I saw had a 44-degree track temperature, so I'm expecting to see that here fairly shortly. And
got it.
4 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 to 5, I don't see a temperature decrease happening often that time of day. So I think we're going to be stuck for a hot one, folks.
I just wonder if these guys' tire pressures are going to go up as the day goes on. As they wear out, they start sliding around and getting greasy. So do you have to preset your tires to be a little lower at the race start? Find out. We'll ask around.
We will find out. Right now, we're going to find out if Mr. Sir can force this Aston Martin past the McLaren of Carpenter, as he is all over the back of him coming through the last section of the course. He even cuts the curb there on that hairpin, trying to find a spot to stick it on the inside of Carpenter and McLaren. We have a yellow flag up here with Robinson. Let's see if we can take a look back and see what happened here, as he seems to have reset to pit. He may have decided the damage was too much to drive back around the track. He gets wide on the grass here, and it's so easy to lose the back of the car, and that's exactly what happens.
Turn 3 again.
I think I did that in the practice race last night.
Hey.
I know how that
wasn't
feels.
There, so I don't want to incriminate anybody, but it might have happened.
It might have happened.
Might have had a front row seat.
Yeah, you might have heard me on comms yelling about it, perhaps.
I don't think it's the last time that turn's going to catch somebody.
I agree.
I
We will
think
probably see more
Kerstetter-
tonight.
Kerstetter out front. Go ahead, Andrew. It's okay.
Turn 6 has been awfully quiet so far. I wonder what it's going to be like later on tires, but it's been awful quiet. So, yeah, Kerstetter's got the top spot right now.
Carpenter's had it off here. Let me see if I can.
Cran is trying to get it around Wilson here, and he does finally make it stick. He did go around the outside of the first corner, and now, oh man, Wilson is losing positions. He opened the door, and cars are piling through it. Unfortunately, now they're 3 wide behind him, trying to get through. As Gomer Wilson continues to tumble down the standings. I don't know if he's having some kind of issue with the car or his setup or something, but he has lost 3 positions in the span of about 3 corners, and he's threatened to lose the 4th. Just ahead of him, O'Brien just lost a position to Durant's up here as well. Let's see if we can jump back and see what happened there, as Durant's was behind him here. Yep, he got wide in corner 6 that we were just talking about. Headed up the hill, lose a bunch of time doing that. If you don't completely lose control of the car, that sand on either side of the track there is extremely slippery. The car just wants to spin around on you.
Turn 6, getting rowdy.
And out front, Manning has taken the lead away from Kerstetter. as he finally made that stick. Let's go back and see if we can take a look here at how he got this done. He he squeezes inside of him here. It just really makes him take that. And then, wow. And Kerstetter didn't give it up that easy. He came right back on the inside of him. Beautiful racing from these two to not make contact through that exchange. But Manning does make the pass stick, as we see now with the live action.
Well, there it is on the outside. Andretti hairpin.
I don't want to say I called it, gentlemen, but
Boy, Manning is making that Honda just outbrake Pat McLaren at every corner, isn't he?
Yes, he is. All these hard braking corners, he was closing up.
Looks like Gomer Wilson has lost another position here, unfortunately. He got a little wide there and gave Ryder the run on him into turn 4.
Word from the chat is that Michael's taking tires, so he's got to get out front. And he's got to make some gap.
Oh, no doubt. Okay. If we got some inside info on his strategy here, that's going to be extremely interesting to watch. He definitely has to get out front and has to set a gap. So.
Yeah, so if that's the case, he could. Ed was just killing him by holding him up. If Ed's not taking tires, he was just killing him. You think he was just thinking, my gosh, I have got to get by him because he's on 50 liters less of fuel.
Yeah.
So he's light.
Let's take a ride on board with Manning here, as this right here, folks, is one of the fastest drivers in sim racing right now, pushing this car to the absolute limit around Laguna Seca, because he is going to change the tires, so he is not concerned about the wear. He has a low tank of fuel, and this is what it looks like.
Yeah, no wonder he's outbraking him. If he's got 70, 80 pounds worth of less of, or kilograms less of, or more than that, less of weight on him, no wonder he's outbraking him.
Yeah, I mean, the McLaren already has a disadvantage under braking. If you offset that even more with lighter fuel load and knowing that you're going to get some fresh tires later in the race, that's an easy gain every time, as he's already put over a second on Kerstetter into the lead.
We were talking about this before the race. These D1 drivers write the script for themselves, and they explain what they're doing by how consistent they are and how they take advantage of everything perfectly. We could tell exactly who's getting tires now, who's not. We could tell who's outbraking because they can tell us with their actions what they're doing. That's a lot of talent on the track.
No question. Huh. Max, you got something queued up for us over there?
I was just looking at another turn 3 victim in Carpenter. I've since started to analyze the Manning and Kerstetter overtake. Let me get a couple more views here together, and hopefully we can implement a new section where we can really break down step by step on what happened, analysis-wise.
Fantastic.
What happened under that overtake.
Fantastic. Looking forward to that, as we see another close battle developing here, as Rust, a gold driver, is held up behind Stefiak, a silver driver, and he desperately would like to get around that Lamborghini and continue his march towards the front, as he is down in 24th position right now.
So we got 12 drivers that have already pitted. So over a third of the field has already can't come in. So a third of the field's not taking tires.
O'Brien with a nice clean overtake on Danny Durant's into the final corner.
He's one of our movers. He's making waves in the overall point standing. He needs a good finish here. He's had good finishes, but to get where he's trying to go, he's really got to pass some guys.
No doubt. And then we have a fairly good train here, 3rd through 5th, with Nixon, Nixon, Dromo, and Griffith. 3 different makes of cars battling out there on the track, as Dromo continuing to place that Audi very well through this whole season. He's been very consistent. He doesn't hit our radar a lot because he's not, way out front or anything, but, that wins championships. Being that solid, somewhere between 3rd and 8th place, race after race. That's the kind of stuff that wins you a championship.
The Porsche teammates are lined up 5th and 6th. Griffith's out front.
Yeah, Nordstrom taking the back seat in the 2 Porsches this week, but Griffith closely chasing Dromo there, as we were just focused on him. I'm going to switch back to Patrick Rust back here, who continues to hound Stefiak in that Lamborghini, and that's about our closest battle in the field right now.
Does the Lamborghini have the most ballast weight this week? I think it's at 30. I think it's 30 bags of blow.
It did seem like the Lambos were qualified in some of the lower positions for sure.
All right. While we have a little bit of lull in the action here, we just want to go ahead and review this overtake for the lead here, and we're going to start fairly early in the lap, headed into the 3rd corner.
Take it away.
All right. So we're going to have to keep our controls up here while we go through this, but it was exactly what I was talking about in the pre-race. Is Manning has already started to set Kerstetter up for the overtake. He had pressure on him all the way through the corkscrew, and here coming into the final hairpin corner, completely outbrakes him, pushes Kerstetter over to the apex. Manning has the better run. He knows he's got the pace. He's going to have him under braking moving up to this point. And right here,
he throws a dummy.
This is the crucial point. Kerstetter thought he was going to go the outside, went ahead and tried to cover the inside of the track. But Manning takes full opportunistic value of that pit lane being on the inside, shuts it down the inside. And if we notice here, we'll go back to Kerstetter. He's trying to switch back onto the inside of Manning, thinking Manning has sent it deep. He's not going to make this second apex. But Kerstetter was not able to push Manning wide enough. Manning carried enough amount of speed down into turn 2. And after that, the position was his. And he has pretty much ran off and left Kerstetter for right now.
Fantastic breakdown, Maxie.
Sweet. That's pretty good stuff, isn't it?
Thanks for the technical breakdown there. During that break, it looks like Spangler lost a position to Walker here. It looks like he got a little wide there and opened the door for him. After that, he's obviously not going to fight with him. He didn't have enough speed going into turn 4. And we'll see if he decides to try to get that back. He falls to 10th place as Walker moves up to 9th.
We just got kind of pro, didn't we?
It felt a little pro.
Nice.
Yeah, well, the chat's loving it too. All right, thanks guys. We will try to keep up the work here in the booth. We got to be the camera crew and the talent. So it's you know.
I want a truck.
We need a truck. Looks like we had a position swap down here as well. What happened here? Yep, he gets wide. The treacherous turn 6, sure enough, gives Nate Speck the 20th position as he takes a little trip through the gravel with his McLaren there. Velez does.
On a truck.
We do need a camera crew. If anybody wants to volunteer to be the camera crew, that'd be great. Griffith now still trying to chase down Dromo up here. Nordstrom has fallen back a little bit, and they have both fallen back a little bit from Nixon in 3rd place as Kerstetter, excuse me, Kerstetter continues to drift further back from Manning, but we've been given the inside insight that Manning is up there to just burn off the tires and make as much time as he can so that when he does have to take that much longer pit stop to get fresh rubber, he will still be able to maintain a competitive edge. As Dromo drifts a little bit wide there, not enough for Griffith to make a move into that corner, but it may be now down the front straight with a little bit advantage from the draft. If he can stick it inside here as the pit lane opens up and Dromo covers the inside very, very tightly, knowing he was thinking about diving down that inside, and prevents him from getting in there to try the overtake that way.
Not so fast, my friend.
Did a fantastic job.
Scooter.
Fantastic job placing that Audi right where he needed to.
That Audi was an innie.
Looks like Gomer Wilson has decided to dive to the pit lane as well as Velez as he takes his pit stop and gets that out of the way. So far, I don't believe any of the people that have pitted so far, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I don't believe anybody that has pitted so far has taken a set of tires. Nope, none of the pit stops we see so far have been long enough to take a set of tires. So,
Nope.
And it's not, in this sim, you do just have to take all 4 tires. You can't just like, oh, well, I just need the fronts or the right sides or anything like that. If you take tires, you take all 4 of them. So that's a pretty consistent timing. Manning off with a yellow here real quick. Let's see. He was marked on my board as a yellow for a second. Why did that flag get thrown? Did he get out of shape here or something? Huh. That might have just been a glitch.
Rainy curve?
Just a glitch in the... Oh, no, he did. He jumped the inside curb and got out into the gravel a little bit there. He is pushing as hard as he can to try to build that gap, and that is not going to help it.
He only lost a half second.
Yep. But that matters a ton with what he's trying to do right now, as far as he has to build that gap as much as he can out front. Kersitter is now just under 2 seconds behind.
Yeah, Code Brown. That could have gotten ugly.
Very scary moment for him, for sure. Back further in the field, 15th place, we have Ryder with Louis right behind him, and he is on the back of Simmons as they are our silver driver battles back here in 14th and 15th place. That's about our closest gap on the track right now. Oh, I take that back. Rust is continuing to get all over the back, and he does finally stick it inside down into T1. And looks like he is going to complete the overtake here. And let's see. Yep, Majid takes the opportunity to stick it alongside as well. Can he make that one stick? Unfortunately, that Aston, as we were talking about, trouble getting out of the corners with the turbocharged V8, just not making the power. But is he going to try to stick it inside here as well? Wow, that was close. Thought he was going to try to make it work.
This can't be a good track for a car that's got who's off.
Yeah, just behind him, Crown here. Looks like he got caught up in watching the action and forgot he was driving a race car for a second, because it looks like he ended up losing control. Yep, sure enough, the rear end got loose and into the wall on the inside. That corner is so tricky if you don't get it just right. He's going to have a little bit of damage on that McLaren. We'll see if he decides to repair it or not.
Yeah, I just don't think that all these little hard braking and twisty corners that big turbocharger you just can't get out of the corners.
And now in his attack on the car in front, he loses a position from behind, and they both gain a position as Steffiak goes wide.
Well,
I know what I'm going to be busy with for the next few minutes here. I'm going to go break down exactly what just happened there.
Yeah, because that was pretty interesting. That it seemed like Majid was pushing Steffiak into some mistakes, and Good took advantage of both of them by just driving through and gaining 2 positions.
Appreciate you.
Otherwise, our field has spread out a little bit throughout the track. Griffith here is about the closest gap right now, still chasing Dromo in 4th place as we see that Porsche pitted against the Audi, both part of the Volkswagen Auto Group at this point in their storied history of car manufacturers. Boy, Dromo uses all of the track right there, getting a little bit out of the grass. I'm surprised he's still able to maintain as much speed as he does, getting out there and touching that gravel. The gravel on the edge of the track here slows you down quite a bit. It's like a sand gravel mixture that just really grabs a hold of your car and slows you down.
All right, while we have this replay queued up of exactly what happened here, I'll be quick just so we can get back to this Griffith battle here for P4.
Take it away.
All right, so right now we're riding off the back wing of Good, and we can see he gets a bad run running up to the kink. That doesn't matter because starter in front is all over the back of that Lamborghini,
That's Majid.
making the pressure. Oh, excuse me, Majid, into the corkscrew here. And that is going to allow Good to completely erase that error he had. And Majid placing it on the inside of this incredibly banked corner here. Lamborghini's all out of sorts here, just trying to defend for their lives. Coming down to the hairpin, we can already see the Lamborghini's making mistakes. Good places his car in the perfect area. And I don't even think he was concerned about that Lamborghini. He was concerned about overtaking Majid because the Lamborghini was completely out of sorts there. He knew he was most likely going to be running that wide.
Fantastic breakdown there. Fantastic racing action out of these D1 drivers, as even down in the 20th positions, we are getting fantastic racing as we come back to the live action with Griffith still chasing Dromo for the 4th place position. And now, right now, Nate Specht is the first of the drivers who has pitted in his number 3 Mercedes back there in 16th spot, you can see on your screen. And he's just quietly moving up the field. He's got some clear air in front of him right now. He's got to be just putting in some laps. As Griffith decides to drive into the pit lane, he may have decided that Dromo has been slowing him down just a little bit, and he's instead going to just try to find some clean air himself.
They're going to split their strategy, aren't they?
Yeah, he may be. So this is about the time. If you were going to take tires, I would think this is when you would be pitting for it, right? About halfway through the race. Makes sense?
It's be on the early side, but it's about right.
And let's
So we
take
just
a
had
look.
Fazli Majid off into turn 3. And it was a bit of a weird one. He never made contact with the wall. He just ran it wide and then reset to the pit lane.
How long's Griffiths in the pits? I have just lost connection with race control, and so I'm flying blind.
Yeah, Griffith is in the pit for quite some time. He has been in for over 30 seconds at this point, so that is a tire change stop. He did a 34-second stopped pits. So that is the first car we have seen take fresh tires this evening, as those rear-engine Porsches are often pretty hard on the rear tires. And as I talked about in our opening, I even noticed with the McLaren, boy, about 20 minutes in, those rear tires start turning into hot greased butter, and it is not a nice feeling.
Well, I need to know what you did to make it 20 minutes in the race. I was feeling that pretty much on the formation lap.
Yeah, we'll compare setups later, I guess.
So is
teammates remember?
Yeah.
So what's Nordstrom doing? I'm assuming Nordstrom is not taking tires.
Right, that would explain his slower pace and the fact that Griffith was out in front of him. So let's see if that's what develops now. As Griffith did come out just in front of Louis here. He's got a little bit of clear track in front of him. He's got about 1.3 seconds up to Gomer Wilson. Wilson's another one that's been slowly losing positions throughout the evening. I don't know if it's a setup issue or if maybe he's another one that is full fuel and a lot of the people around him were not, that they're planning to take tires and he is not. This is interesting, folks. This is going to be curious to see who plays out better with this.
Well, heck,
Interestingly, go ahead, Andrew.
Well, it means that the Griffith was 50 liters lighter than Nordstrom. No wonder he backed up to him.
Here we have. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to bring up Nordstrom real quick. He's already really closing down on the Dromo-Nixon battle.
Yeah, and Nixon just made this error going off at turn 6 and let Dromo by into third place.
So it's also, with our insider information, we know Manning is going to pit. Kerstetter, we also know he likes to take on, 30 to 40 liters during the race, not necessarily change tires. But that pace difference just doesn't seem big enough to overcome in a 1 hour race. I just think taking tires is not the way to go.
Well, we will find out, that's for sure. We get the best test bed available with these fine drivers here. We know it's not the drivers that are making the errors, it's the setup in the car. So with these guys, we can pretty much count on them being consistent as far as lap time and driver input.
You know, we got the question in the chat about, do you come in at 30 or you go in early at 25 minutes in? I think you wait the whole 30, or unless you got traffic that's getting in your way, then you got to come in early.
Yeah, so did Griffith make an error going in as early as he did? He was in at about 33 minutes left, and so 27 minutes into the race.
Now, he had to get out of the way. He had to get out of Nordstrom's way.
Exactly.
He had to do it because he was just holding his teammate up at that point. So that was a strategy you might see on a early Sunday morning on Sky, on Sky Sports.
Manning is in the pit.
Mentioned.
Manning is in the pit. Our leader has pitted, and as we expected, he has stopped for a longer time than we would normally see. So he will drop down through the standings, and we will watch him closely from here on out to see, how well he can get a pace.
Specht in 14th is the first person who has pitted. I'm anxious to see.
Here he comes through the last corner now onto the front straight. I would assume Manning is moving at this point. He is not.
Let me check. He's now moving.
Okay.
Yeah, but Specht already pretty much at the breaking point of turn 1.
Yeah.
So,
now Specht almost definitely didn't take tires, so he is definitely going to be on a slower set of tires.
But he's going to be 15, 20 seconds up the road on the low side. So Manning's going to have it all to do.
Definitely going to have to put in some fast laps.
So if it's about 35 seconds, for in and out, if you're getting 1 liter. So I've just lost race control. I'm blind as a bat over here.
Andrew, I lost contact to the server as well. So
okay.
We're going to have to rely on Dudley here.
Everybody's blind except me.
So the question is, how many seconds behind Kerstetter is Manning? Is it more or less than 35 seconds?
Right, so they lose a total. If the pit stop, Manning looks like he did a perfect stop. It was 32 seconds stopped. A total of 1 minute and 1 second lost in the pit lane.
Oh. Well, if we look real quick at the timing and scoring that I can see here through the sim, is Griffith looks to be about 10 seconds off Manning. Is that right?
Griffith is currently, 11 just over 11 seconds behind Manning. Yep.
So when they came into the pit, and Manning just about lost it there.
Yeah, he sure did. That's a corner he went wide on earlier as well.
So, well, I lost my train of thought there after seeing Manning run wide there. I don't believe taking tires is the best strategy.
He went all the way from, let's see, it's going to end up being one. I'm having to do the math. Yeah, he's 10 seconds behind Specht, and Specht wasn't anywhere close to the lead.
Right.
So,
Specht moves up to 12th place with all of that.
I just want to know, is he more or less than 35 to 40 seconds behind Kerstetter? If he's more than that, then he just lost the lead.
Well, and again, though, did he ultimately just decide, look, this car becomes unmanageable without changing the tires? Because it's very possible that some drivers might just decide, you know what, I know I can't necessarily make up the time, but ultimately I'm worried I'm not going to finish the race without taking tires.
I did race the Honda for a little while, and the lasting memory I have of it is the torque out of the corner. You have to be so delicate on the throttle.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the McLaren, it takes a little, there's a little time there for those turbos to spool up, so we don't have to deal with that as much. But the Honda, it's instantaneous.
Durant hits
it
the
almost
pit lane
feels
as well.
naturally aspirated.
Yeah, it does. It just doesn't matter. all these advanced mathematics we're doing doesn't amount to a hill of beans if you can't drive the car 50 minutes into the race.
Exactly. Yep. If you can't keep it on the track, none of it matters. So Durant does a quick splash and dash in the pit lane. No tires for him.
Brian Anderson in the pit says in the chat saying he's going no tires. Yeah, I think that's dead right. As long as you can drive the car, he's dead on it. And I think if tomorrow night Brian's going to be in the top 10 or so overall for the D2 race. For him, I think you're going to think about you can't give up seconds. But I think if you're midfielder back, maybe giving up the seconds isn't as big a deal in the back because you're looking to to finish strong. You're just not. But I think if you're a top 10 driver, I don't think you can take the tires anywhere else. I think the tires might be a must. That's my initial thinking. Let's see where we stand. About 20 minutes.
I think if the front tires start giving up on you, which was the first thing I noticed in the practice race last night, understeer is manageable, and you are going to lose a half a second to a second, but when they start to give up, there isn't 26 laps left to go to make up that difference of somebody getting new tires, and they are going to have to be pushing and taking risks, whereas you can sit back and control the car. It's when that rear starts to let go, and I really didn't feel the rear start to let go last night. It was more or less the front tires starting to understeer.
Yeah, think about how much pressure you put on the front tires and the hairpin and the corkscrew. Yeah. That's where
the banking really helps those rear tires as well. They're not being as stressed as much.
Yep. Interesting stuff.
Riding
Very
on
interesting.
board
Very
here.
car dependent.
Yeah. Riding on board here with Manning, as he did make the decision to take tires, as we've been discussing. The other thing is he might not have had as much time to prepare his strategy as this Ironman triathlete here, pretty much. He ran the entire 12-hour of Bathurst race by himself and darn near won the thing on Saturday at our SRA 12-hour 2K event at Bathurst. Was a riot of a good time. If you've never participated in an SRA endurance event, please come check them out. And yeah, big props to Manning for his finish there, as he did a fantastic job. And except for an unfortunate incident that was not entirely his fault, he probably would have won the race. He did finish second.
Yeah, just to double down on the fun factor of that 12-hour endurance race, it's just incredible. Anybody that is interested in doing anything like that, finding a team, and as Manning proved, you can even do it yourself. I wouldn't recommend 24 hours, but 12 hours, absolutely, and it's an incredible experience. I'd recommend it to anybody.
If I tried that, my cardiologist would make a house call. Hey, Sunset's here. Hey, they're here.
Looks like
Welcome, guys.
Simmons lost a position to Walker here. Let's see if we can watch what happened there. Looks like he might have gotten a little wide, or did he just get a clean overtake on him here? Nope, he was pushed a little wide by the threat of the overtake and lost the position fairly cleanly. Kept it on the track, but did lose some position.
You know, with the Sunset guys here, we gotta pretend like we know what we're talking about. Okay, guys. All right, let's put a good face on.
Hey, just have them rewind about 10, 15 minutes, and they can see some great analysis.
So let's get those guys up to speed. So what we've got is they can see it's 35, 42 degrees out here, and tires are scorching, and we've got a few of the leaders, the race contenders, championship contenders, have taken tires. Most people haven't. So we in the booth are very interested in finding out are the tires going to work. This is a perfect experiment for it.
And Manning just makes another overtake as he tries to make his way back through the field.
Well, he's got 4 Mr. Feelgoods on. He's got to be faster, and not just a little bit.
The thing is, though, is put a little bit of perspective here for our viewers at home and Sunset, who just joined. Manning's in 13th. Speck in 10th place. Fuel only. That's about doing quick math here, that's about 14 seconds that Manning's going to have to make up over 20 minutes.
Yep.
That's almost a second a lap. And fortunately, I don't have the current lap times, but I don't think Manning's a second faster a lap Speck right now.
Well, is he going to be a second a lap faster in 10 minutes? Because
exactly.
The word on the street is these tires are going to be just balls of double mint by the time we get to the end of this race.
Manning attempting another overtake, 2 overtakes in less than a lap here as he tries to push his way back through the field. he could get it done, folks. If anybody was going to get it done, I'd put my money on this guy in this Honda. What a fantastic boy. He just must be glued in his sim about 16 hours a day with just a phenomenal talent this guy's been showing in his car, both in this GT3 series and in the endurance events this season. Fantastic to be able to watch him.
Dromo has pulled up to about 3 seconds within Kerstetter. He's slowly making time on him.
Yeah, our leaders are closing the gap as well. Nixon is keeping the gap there as well. And Specht has closed the gap on Ryder here as well. He's not slouching, but he's got to be concerned for sure with, he doesn't have the new tires. So
currently, what is Specht's gap?
He's
to first place.
To first place, he's 37 seconds back.
So if Kerstetter doesn't have a perfect pit stop, Specht could be within a shot of winning this race.
You should be able to reconnect your race controller, Maxie, in the bottom left.
We're trying. Mine's dead.
Yeah, it keeps saying, even though we're directing our port forwarding and port connection directly to this server, it's still failing to connect.
Yeah. So, am I understanding right? Because so for everybody watching, Maxie and I are flying blind as a bat. We have no idea what we're doing, and we don't have race control. Am I right that Manning is like 40 seconds back? When Kerstetter comes in,
50 seconds.
He's 50. So it's going to be at least, you're right, so at least 35 for Ed to come in. He's got to get a second a lap on him. And he's got to get a bunch of guys out of the way.
So, a pit stop without tires costs you 34 seconds of track time. And that's if you do it perfectly, which we would expect Kerstetter to do. That's 5 seconds stopped and then just about 30 seconds lost at the lower speeds that you have to maintain in the pit lane. So, 34 seconds of actual track time is what Specht lost in the pit lane when he pitted, not taking tires. So just coming in for the splash and dash, completing the pit requirement, getting back out. We would have to see Manning close that gap to close to basically 30 seconds. And right now he's at 50. So he's got to make up another 20 seconds here before he can have a hope of taking back the lead.
He's got to ride like the wind, doesn't he?
He is making up about a second a lap, though. I tell you that. He already dropped it to 49-second gap. So.
Oh, there we go.
As long as he can get around Flanger here fairly quickly, he should continue the march up the field. That's going to be the hardest part, I think, for him, is the fact that, the rest of these drivers aren't going to just be like, oh, that's Manning. I might as well just pull over and let him by. I mean, that's not the way.
Absolutely.
I think he probably get around Flanger here in 11th, but then I'm not sure he's going to make up 9 seconds over the course of roughly 17 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough. The time is winding down, folks. We only have 17 minutes left in this race, already less than 17 minutes. Boy, it seems like it just started. We have had, despite the fact that the gaps on this track are not extremely close, we have had just so much stuff to cover here.
Kerstetter just had an issue overtaking a lapped car here.
See if we can pull up a replay of that situation. Oh, he sure did.
Got a little wide on the exit.
Got wide on exit, slowed him right down, and he had to give the spot back, basically there.
Was that Dan?
Yeah, it looks like that must be Dan Cran. 23rd position.
Hey, big thanks to Al. He got me up and going on race control.
Fantastic.
Boom. Appreciate you, buddy. So now I still don't know what I'm talking about. But I can see the numbers now. So, there's only so much help you can.
And Manning did make the pass on Flanger here as he continues to march up the field. Boy, just boldly dives it down the inside of him there, and tidily overtakes him for 11th position now, as he is close to regaining the top 10. As I don't think Specht is going to maintain that gap long. He's about 10 seconds back from Specht right now, but with Specht being on those much older tires, I don't expect him to maintain anywhere close to the pace that Manning should be able to maintain. As Specht is also being held up by Ryder here. Ryder, our top silver driver, hanging in 9th place, but he is yet to pit.
we've got what, 10? We've got 12 guys that haven't pitted yet.
Yeah, our leader being one of them. And as we've been shaping up here, that battle right now, so let's say Kerstetter pitted immediately this lap. He would fall to 9th position, but all the positions in front of him would still have to pit, and he would immediately gain those 8 positions back.
Yep.
So if we can see Manning, boy, there's no way he's going to make up a second and a half in the next, per lap. He's fast, but nobody's that fast.
I don't think he's going to make it.
He's still 48.5 seconds back from our leader right now.
That's 14 seconds back, 14 minutes to go. And even if he does catch him and passing him something different, when he gets to that whole top 5, it's not a cakewalk past any of those guys, even with the newer tires. It's just Kerstetter's in. He is in. Yep.
All right, Kerstetter does take his pit. We'll watch Manning as he comes around. He's at the corkscrew right now. There's no way he's going to make it to the pit lane before he's out.
Kerstetter blew past this pit box.
Oh, so his pit's going to be slightly long, but that's still, so that's going to maybe cost him 4 or 5 seconds in his pit box. I don't think that's going to be enough. Manning's going to be fighting for it, though, no question.
All right, here in the pit here, this is Kerstetter coming out of the pit lane. And we see Manning coming down the main straightaway. So there goes Speck, though, over here to your right in the pit.
Yep. And Manning coming.
Might have the run.
Wow, Speck's going to take the over lead of the race. Look at that. Fantastic work out of him to kind of come out of nowhere to inherit the lead of this race right now. And now Kerstetter's got to know, hey, that guy is already pitted and he's in front of me.
Well, now, hang on here. 3 words. Coodromo. If he was catching Kerstetter, and if Kerstetter didn't hit his pit box right, it's going to cost him 3 or 4 seconds.
Coodromo might inherit this lead.
He may walk himself to the front of this thing.
Yeah.
So now the question is, let's get a camera on. Does Koa need to come in? Or does he need to stay out as long as he can? I guess it has to do with his traffic.
Stay out. Stay out.
Now,
unless he gets...
Just for statistics' sake, Kerstetter did have to stop for about 14 seconds was the time he was stopped in his pit box, and his total time lost in the pit was 45 seconds. So Manning's going to be right here in a few blinks of an eye. He's going to be chasing this battle down.
Yeah, Manning's about 5.5 seconds off. We got 12 minutes to go, roughly, 8.5, 9 laps.
Oh, boys, it's heating up, folks. We're going to get a heck of a end to this race. We got about 12 minutes left here, and it's all on the table for round 7 here at Laguna Seca. We could see quite the shakeup depending on what happens here, as Nordstrom, our current leader, is still hanging in 3rd place as well. So don't count him out of the fight. Dromo, he's still in 1st place. If he has a good pit stop, he's going to be right there. Nixon's only 1.8 seconds off of him. Yeah. These guys are all going to be battling it out here in the last 10 minutes.
You know who else is sitting here? It's Travis Nordstrom.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to win this thing, but he didn't have to. He's got after last week, he's got a good enough lead over in Kerstetter that he's top 3 or 4 here. He's going to be just fine. But still, I want to see Coodromo pit and come out.
Here goes Kerstetter on Spec.
Oh, wow. What a place to stick it inside. Unbelievable pass. Fantastic pass right there to keep that car from not touching him.
Absolute great racing.
If you notice now, Kerstetter's only got 4 seconds on Manning, and they're both clear of their pit with a straight fight. That lead went down to 4 seconds. Manning's got 4 fresher tires. Kerstetter doesn't. But it ain't going to matter because Coa's going to beat him.
Yeah, Coa's going to be in front of both of them.
Manning's going to have to get around Spec. For starters, Spec just held up.
You can see the distance.
Held up, defended Kerstetter.
Yep, you can see the distance of Specht up here in front of Manning as we ride on board with him.
Right. Yeah, Kerstetter's tires are cooler. They're about to heat back up. Don't go anywhere. Whatever you do, don't go anywhere. My goodness, now's not the time to go.
And as we talked about, Coadromo still out front with no traffic bothering him, able to lay down nice, clean laps, continuing to build the gap. And so right now, if he pitted, he would still come out in 8th position, just ahead of Kerstetter, as Ryder gets dispatched by Kerstetter. Now Specht has to get around him.
Yeah, Specht, if he could have gotten around Ryder while he was...
Looks like Ryder got a little loose coming out of turn 6, and Kerstetter was able to just drive up around him going into the corkscrew. Jeez, that's nerve-wracking as that entry right there. Woo! Fantastic job of making the, being slightly offline and still making your line through the corkscrew properly there.
Yeah, so I want to see some pitting.
I think Dromo, Nixon, Nordstrom.
I'm gonna wait till the last minute.
Yeah, they have to, and it very. Yeah, I can't see Dromo not winning this race. He's being able to run in fresh air. Kerstetter got held up a little bit. See what happens.
I don't think Mercer's gonna win, but look again. That Nixon and Mercer, those BMWs, they run top 5, top 10 every single race. We don't talk about them because they just sit there and kind of bring their lunch pail and get their work done and get out. But here they are again every week.
Whoa, Specht has a huge moment in turn 6.
And there goes Manning.
And there goes Manning, gives him the position. He's up now to 10th position after making that stop for tires.
And real quick, we hadn't talked about Vasquez. He lost a lot of positions in the standings last week, but he's running 6. He's about to get them all back.
Yeah, he's still yet to pit, so he would fall. Where would he fall? He would fall out of the top 10, unfortunately, right? Yeah.
He's going to get a lot of points back, though.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have a good result, no question. Let's continue to follow Manning here as he tries now to chase down Ryder. Ryder's still yet to pit, first in the silver class. He would lose first in silver when he does pit, though, as Walker behind him has already pitted and is within a 30-second gap behind him. Again, we lose a perfect pit stop will lose you about 34 seconds of total track time.
Yep. for me, 43.
Yeah. It depends on how you pit, that's for sure.
Well, because the pit crew's got to go find the car, put the dolly under it, and say, no, this box. And it takes about 8 seconds for them to get me ready.
That's not coming from Les Driver.
Very Les Driver.
Our traffic reporter, Les Driver, at work again. As we have a battle here for 20th position. Good overtaking Durant, as it looks like he has gotten the overtake done. Let's see if we can jump back and see how this started. Durant actually dove inside of him, and then he came back up the inside as he went late on the braking and took the position back. And then we just saw they fought for the position again into T1 here as he tried to dive back inside here, but did not have enough speed.
And it just goes back to what we've been talking about in the couple analysis sections. If you can push somebody wide there at that last corner, they will get a terrible run. And it just so happened to be that the Beamer was able to push that Audi wide and move right up the inside.
No doubt. Look at the closing speed of Manning on Ryder right now with those fresh tires, chasing down a silver driver. Boy, he has just closed that gap within half a lap here to nothing on the back of that McLaren.
Hey, is that 2 seconds now between Ed and Michael with a car between them that hasn't pitted?
It sure is.
He's got to get out of the way. Ryder has got to. He doesn't have to.
Hey.
Boy, he sure
it's not required, but he should get out of the way so we can have a good time here.
If he wants a Christmas
been for that other McLaren.
Hey, if he wants a Christmas card from Michael Manning, he needs to go ahead and
look at the
Manny's got a run on him
into the corkscrew.
He ain't racing him. He's not ready to go. Yeah, he's not racing him, though.
Fantastic overtake. Fantastic job by Manning to make a clean overtake through the corkscrew and is now directly behind Ed Kerstetter trying to chase down that lead. Kerstetter has made it around Ryder there.
So how do you like tires now?
Oh, wait a minute.
I still don't like it because there's not a lot of people in this field that have the ability that Michael Manning does to extract that performance and make up those lap times to make the new tires count.
I was gonna say I can't drive like that. I can't make a set of tires work that well. That's
Well, now I still want to see some pitting. We got about 3 minutes, well, 2 minutes probably before we start seeing.
We got about
these
2
pits.
laps, I'd say.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Dromo, at this point, if he pit right now, he would still come out in front of Kerstetter with a perfect stop. Now that's always still something, you know. I mean, if he misses his pit box by a little bit.
Dromo's in the pit.
All right, let's take a look here. If you want to pull Dromo up in the pit, I'm going to have Kerstetter here, our provisional leader of people who have pitted.
All right, everybody, here's your race. Here's what you paid for.
Let's see. Kerstetter is coming through the corkscrew now as Dromo drops positions. Vasquez into the pit as well.
All right, Vasquez in. Yep.
We have Dromo moving in the pit lane as Kerstetter comes now to the final hairpin corner. And it looks as if Dromo has made an excellent pit stop. He was only stopped for 5 seconds, 34 seconds total time lost in the pit. And he comes out on track very clear in the lead.
Will likes to move it.
He sure does. Boy, he has moved that Audi very quickly throughout this whole week.
Well done.
I said he had the fastest time on the leaderboards. He's one to watch tonight.
You're right, you did, didn't you?
Well,
there you go.
No big deal.
Wow.
Called it.
You
Look at the gap back to Kerstetter. We got a good view of it right there. As let's jump on board with Kerstetter, and we can he even see him at the top of the hill here? Nope. And he's got to know right now. He's had to looked at his delta on his screen and gone, uh-oh.
Yep.
He might have lost the lead of this race.
He lost it in the pits, didn't he?
He sure did.
And
Nordstrom into the pits as well now.
Yeah, I want to see this. But he can't win the race. But Spangler in, O'Brien in. But you have given some outstanding sooth.
Well, thank you, sir. As Dromo moves by all these guys.
Real quick. Search what sooth is.
As Nordstrom gets it moving back out of the pit lane, uses all of that track that he's allowed, brakes extremely hard. Yep. This hairpin is so tight. Come out of his pit lane. Does he get wide? Oh, he keeps it in the limits. No. And he's going to come out in front of Kerstetter as well.
They all got him. Oh, my goodness.
Both Kerstetter and Manning down now in a 5th and 6th position with Mercer and Nixon still out front yet to pit.
Yep.
But
they'll have to pit this lap.
Mercer and Nixon, they could even come out right on top of Manning if they pit right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Well, we've seen something, haven't we?
Leave it to D1 to give a phenomenal show.
Quick flip over here
times in a row.
Yeah. Quick flip over here to O'Brien as he's trying to chase down Walker in front of him. And
Nixon is in the pits currently here.
All right, let's take a look at that as Dromo is going to come by them here as he enters the final corner. We should see Nixon.
All right, he's leaving the pits.
Yep.
He's almost to the line to accelerate. I don't think. Oh, it's going to be very close.
There goes Dromo, the leader.
I think he's going to have Nordstrom here. He's going to have Nordstrom.
Thank you, Will,
It's going to be very close.
Oh, it's going to be so close because it's hard to get the power down here, but he does. That shorter exit on the pit lane lets you cut that first corner, and you gain time even leaving the pit lane like that. It's incredible. I mean, you really only lose 34 seconds of actual track time, which is actually fairly short for how long of a pit lane this is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We got 26 seconds left. Okay, everyone's homework over the next couple of weeks while we're on a break is go check out any 7 SRO races that you want to see. That's what the last, 7 years or so? Go check out any 7 of them and find any of those that are better than the 7 D1 races we've had this season. they don't have a race that's as good as the
Manning
worst race
overtakes
we've had.
Kerstetter going up to the corkscrew. He's side by
Oh, no,
side
no,
through the
Kerstetter.
corkscrew, and they're fighting it back door to
my
door.
gosh.
Manning does complete the overtake as they come to the final corners of the final lap, and Kerstetter's still not letting it go. He's on the outside, trying inside, taps him in the back, and he goes wide, and that'll pretty much seal the deal for Manning there, as there's intense action into the final corners of this race as Coadromo comes across the line. Our winner of this race, round 7 here at Laguna Seca, and Nixon finishing second. Nordstrom brings it home third. Manning, for that great pass, comes home 4th place. Kerstetter, caught sleeping on the last lap, takes 5th. Mercer goes in 6th. Specht in 7th. Spangler in 8th. Flamger at 9th. And Vasquez brings home the 10th spot. As the rest of our drivers cross the line, we have another couple of close battles here as Dan Cran looking for the last-ditch effort on a pass here through the final corners. Close behind him, we have Durant. And it doesn't look like there's going to be any action into the final hairpin, but you never know who's going to be the last of the late breakers. They all pile it up close together, but there's nothing to be had for these 3 cars as they cross the line here in 16th, 17th. I believe that positioning is actually incorrect. We have some people that have left the server, so I'm all discombobulated on where our actually finishes and positions are, but we will get you the results here as we look for some interviews and congratulate our winners for both our gold and silver divisions. The rest of our drivers bring it across safely. Schwartz is the final driver on the track. He has already just thrown it to the pit lane after he realized he couldn't do much better than what he had done. And that is our race, folks. What a finish. What a race. Geez, I mean, what is there to talk about? Who are we going to interview? I don't even know what to do.
All of them.
Interview the top 10.
Yeah, the whole top 10. We just bring them all in at once?
Yeah, absolutely. Let them just hash it out, talk it out.
We just move the broadcast feed into the Division 1 race chat right now.
That's not the worst idea I've heard.
Hey, the viewers, I'm sure, would love to hear from these drivers talking through the race much more than us after listening to us for an hour.
Yeah, really? I mean, come on. Let's get some of these guys' perspectives. Andrew, you got anybody lined up over there in the chats that you see that would look good for an interview off the bat here?
All of them. But I tell you, I have an early morning in the morning. I'm going to slip out. If y'all are okay to do the interviews, I'm going to run for some sleep.
Absolutely, sir. We will take it from here. Thanks for your service tonight, and we will see what we can see from here.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
You too. And we are looking for some race results. Obviously, our winner, Coadromo, I see him in the chat right now. Let's drag him in here before he gets involved in anything else. Let's put a bug in his ear. Coadromo, you got Dudley Do right up here in the booth. Can you hear us?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Hey, man, fantastic race tonight. Congratulations on the win. Tell us what it looked like from your end.
I mean, pretty smooth for the most part, kind of. I noticed the tire starting to go probably 20 minutes in, so I was getting a little nervous. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really make any kind of big mistakes, surprisingly. It was another week of doing real shitty in the practice race, but then come race time, put it all together. So yeah, super stoked, and my first win. So yeah, this is a big moment for me.
Hey man, congratulations on your first win. Just walk us through the emotions kind of that you're feeling right now.
Honestly, I feel like I was more stoked for the podium last week. I think maybe it just hasn't really set in yet.
Does it feel more like relief? You finally been validated for that pace that we've seen you've demonstrate?
Yeah, I mean, doing the 21.8 on the practice leaderboard, I figured that was going to be like the highlight of my week. But to do that and then pull this off, I mean, yeah, it's insane right now to me.
Yeah, well,
fantastic.
I mean, phenomenal race. Were you monitoring when you saw Kerstetter pit? Were you monitoring that gap to him at all?
Not really. I was just trying to focus forward and not, hit the sausage curbs. That was like pretty much the whole thing.
uh,
That the
well,
turn after the
go ahead.
turn after the corkscrew, car got a little loose there a couple of times, so that was like a turn that I was really trying to be cautious with or
Mm.
conservative. And I mean, yeah, I came or well, yeah, I came out of the pits and I had like a second or a 7-second gap to Ed,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
Uh,
and then I
yeah.
think I had like a 4-second gap to Nordstrom, and then like a 3-second gap to Nixon.
Yeah.
So at
Yeah.
that point, with only a couple of laps to go, I mean, it was just straight. All right, let's not push it. Just I took it pretty easy the last couple of laps just to make sure, and yeah, pulled it off.
Yeah.
Well,
Fantastic job, man. Fantastic job.
yeah.
Yeah,
We couldn't be
appreciate
more
it.
happy for you. I mean, your first win here, SRA Division One. You killed it tonight. Just so happy for you. You've given so much week in and week out. Just really happy for you tonight.
Yeah, appreciate it. Definitely putting it up there with beating Lando Norris.
Hey, nice job, man. And dude, thanks for making me look good here in the booth. I called you out early in the broadcast, having checked the race times there and watched. I was actually in the qualifying server when you set that 121.8, and
Oh
I
yeah.
was like, man, this is going to be intense if these guys are laying down 121s. And sure enough, yeah, you made me look like quite the race predictor there as I as I called you out earlier, and you did not disappoint, man. Fantastic job.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Uh,
I do want to give a shout out to
yeah.
my dad who's watching. Um, Also to Dan Cran and all Audi boys that we have, working together on setups and all that. Red Eye
Uh,
Racing. Yeah, just
uh,
everyone's
well,
full
y'all
of
are
shit.
doing a heck of a job. Congratulations again. I'm sure your dad's so proud right now of his son. Just enjoy the moment.
Yeah, appreciate it for sure.
Fantastic job, man. And we got a little break here, but we'll see you back for some racing soon.
Sounds good. See you guys later.
Move him back to his race chat, and we will look for our second place. I'm having trouble pulling up our race results. They don't seem to be posting from the server to our webpage as fast as they usually do. But there we go. They finally posted. It took just a little bit longer. So now let's try to pull our second place driver here, Nixon, if we can find him in the race chats. Where is he? There's Nixon. Let's get him up here. We haven't talked to him yet this season, I don't believe. So
This will be a first for sure.
let's see what happens. Jordan Nixon, this is Dudley Durite and Maxie Poe up in the booth. Can you hear us all right?
I can hear you. How's it going?
It's great, man. How's it going for you? It was a fantastic race this evening. Second place finish. I'm sure you're stoked. Can you walk us through a little bit what it looked like from your perspective tonight?
Well, I just want to say that starting tonight, I don't know if y'all remember, last week was probably the worst race I've ever had in SRA. So I really sat down to grind a bit and to have a decent race.
Well,
Well,
I
you
would say
succeeded.
P2 and D1
You succeeded.
is a great race.
Yeah.
Like last week, everything possible could go wrong, did go wrong.
Yeah,
Qualified bad,
we've
then
had those weeks.
missed my pit box,
Oof.
then just got stuck, died on the kink a few times or the chicane a few times. Then I just called it quits because I was literally like in last.
Mm. Yeah, that's
well,
a rough
well,
week.
don't feel bad
Anyway.
about missing that pit box.
Oh,
Ed
well, because I pit
Sanderson
early
not missed
too.
his.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, we were watching that in the chat. So no, coming into this race, that's all I had on my mind is just let's get a solid qualifying. Let's just get a good race in, and I'd say it worked out. I was not expecting P2 based on how the race was going. I guess I got lucky that Ed missed his box. I was also scared Minning was going to make a comeback on those tires.
He sure tried. He passed Kerstetter on the last lap in a heroic pass through the corkscrew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a crazy race. This kind of heat at Laguna.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough.
I'm looking forward to ours tomorrow, man. I can't wait to get out there on the track after watching you guys battle it out tonight.
Yeah.
I do have a quick question before we
Sure.
leave you. Did you start to feel that the tires were falling off at any point? And if you did feel that, at what point was it?
Yeah. So they dropped off first because I could run, high 22s, low 23s, all the way up till about maybe the 20-25 minute mark. Then
Okay.
they dropped off a bit, and then maybe around the 45-minute mark, they started dropping off a bit more. So it seemed to be drop off in two stages. It's kind of how it works
Okay.
for me. But I was trying really hard to protect those tires.
Was it
Yeah,
a front end, like a front end limited race, or was it a rear end limited race?
definitely rear end.
Rear
Okay.
end. Okay.
Yeah, I was losing all my pace trying to get good exits. BMW notoriously doesn't. It has really good corner exit, but the downside of that is once your tires wear, it just has a habit to
Will spin.
spin the tires. So yeah,
Well,
it just had to. I had to really instead of turning TC up, I preferred just to roll into the throttle a little more, which costs some time, but it's better than dying.
Yeah.
and I mean, you did that to perfection tonight. I mean, finishing P2 tonight.
Oh, and
It
in this
was
grid,
it was great.
we have so many just
Yeah,
fantastic drivers here. It
couldn't
feels
agree
good
with you
to be
more.
in the podium. Anytime
It
you can
should.
finish really in the top 10 in D1, you're doing something right.
No
Yeah, I
doubt.
mean, you did something really good tonight. Congratulations again.
I appreciate
Great
it.
race.
Sometimes it works out for me, so I'll take it when I can get it.
Hey, man. Anytime you're finishing ahead of the likes of Ed Kerstetter and Mercer and Nordstrom and Manning, I would count that as a huge win. If I could
Yep.
even
Yeah.
hold a 1 lap candle to some of these guys, I would be feeling pretty good. So fantastic job with the strategy and everything, and sticking it out, having a good clean race. And we got a little break before our final race of the season, but hopefully we'll see you fighting for the win in that one as well.
Oh yeah, Bathurst is my favorite track. It's my most driven track in the game. So
Ooh, we'll be looking out for you next
hey,
time then.
that doesn't mean I'm good at it.
And did that have
Well,
anything to do with the 12 hours on Saturday?
well, we did win that race, so I don't know. Uh,
Yeah.
maybe that'll play in our favor.
Oh, well, we'll
Yeah.
see. Anybody you want to give a
Well-
quick shout out to while you're here in the booth?
I'll shout out to Jeremy. His race pace was better than mine, but he just, did a little better on quali. Quali's so important here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Pace,
mean, seriously,
comparing pace, he
quali.
was faster than me. So,
Yeah. Quali was worth 4 positions tonight. It
yep,
just like you said,
it really
can't be
was.
underestimated.
Fantastic,
So,
man. Well, we will send you back to your race chat. Thanks for spending some time with us, and we'll see you next
absolutely.
time, hopefully.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
See ya.
All right. See.
All right. That was your second place finisher, Jordan Nixon. And I want to get we've talked to Travis Nordstrom a lot. He was our third place finisher. I feel like he's had a lot of time in the booth. I'd like to get somebody else up here that we haven't talked to, just like Nixon. That was fun to get somebody in here. And I'm thinking we could pull our silver winner, Ryan
Yes,
Walker,
in
if we
another
can
BMW.
find him. So let's see if Walker is available for an interview. I'm not seeing him anywhere in the chats right now.
Ryder would also be a great person to interview if you see him there in the chats. The way he was able to,
Yeah, he was.
I don't want to say
He was
hold up.
Yeah,
but
but
he was holding his own.
He was. Yeah, he didn't immediately cough up to position. So that's something to be said, right? Let's
Right.
see here. Nordstrom is right there in the chat, and that is tempting to just grab him. Manning is there
Let's
as
go ahead
well.
and I tell you what, let's grab Manning because I really want to
Ask him about this.
hear. Yes. I'm sure the viewers want to hear about that pass as well.
Yeah, the pass and the move to take tires. Let's find out.
Yeah.
Michael Manning, Dudley Do-Right, and Maxi Poe here in the booth. Can you hear us all right?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. Congrats on that fourth place finish. It's a pretty good result for you. Just tell us a little bit from your perspective, the decision to take tires. Do you regret it? Was it the right thing to do? Was it there was no other choice? How did it all play out for you?
So for the Honda, there wasn't really a choice for me in the start. It was, at least in my opinion, super bad on tire wear. So I was convinced I was taking tires, and quali was going to be super important because further up you start, the more pace you can make up towards the start since you're on half fuel. So that was really nice getting past Ed. I was really happy about that. Then I made a mistake closer to the end of that stint. and it was kind of disappointing. 2 seconds, like it's not that much in the long run, but I really needed to push as much as possible, like being on or doing 2 sets of tires. But and then the pit went well. I just after the pit I could not get back up to pace. It was so hard to find the limit because the tires were gone like 2 minutes ago. So it was so hard to realize like, oh, I can push this much again, which that's just the thing you need to dial in, and just didn't go that well for me. But I think with more practice, like just more conditioning, getting used to switching the tires, I think the time was there to be all the way up front, but it just didn't happen, unfortunately.
Well, it was entertaining as heck to watch, man. I'll tell you that. Like, thanks for giving us something to keep track of all night. That was fantastic. Max, you had something?
Yeah. Can you walk us through that pass
on
that
the
you
final
made
lap
on Ed on the final? It has been dubbed the pass.
So, I was catching a lot, like the laps coming up to it. I was making some mistakes, but it wasn't like too bad. But it was incredible. At least at the start, I realized how the Honda just blazes past the McLaren on the straights. So really, I was just trying to get a pass, like, or at least alongside in a straight instead of like a dive bomb. So I was trying to set up like a lot of undercuts, but not like in the corner, but just getting more speed out of the corner. And the situation just popped up in the left-hand kink. He made a small mistake, and I knew that was my only chance if something like that were to happen. So we got alongside, and then I thought it would have been done, but his nose was still there going into the corkscrew, so I had to hold it a little tighter.
You guys were side by side through the corkscrew. Unbelievable.
And he can take an enormous amount of curb, which is incredible. But so he got that done, and then we were side by side, and I just had to hold on. I had the better tires, I had the better pace. I just had to hold on, which ended up happening, and it was chill enough. So that was a rewarding end to the race, but still, I'm a little disappointed, but it is what it is.
Well, don't be disappointed. I mean, that's coming from a D3 driver, okay? But finishing P4 tonight, that incredible pass. I mean, you took tires
fastest
when
lap of the race.
No one else did. It was incredible, the pace you put in tonight. So don't feel disappointed. Number one. Number two is I just going side by side through the corkscrew is still boggling my mind. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that, and what an incredible driver you are. So just again, congratulations tonight.
I hope to
talk to you again.
I absolutely. It's a little shame. Also, I don't know if you guys have realized, but championship is over. Nordstrom has it.
I finished in P3
we
today.
have not seen the updated championship yet.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not up to speed on tracking the live points as much as some of our other compatriots. So thanks for the update there.
Nordstrom has a 70-point lead, and he has a drop race. He has a drop race of 48. So even if he gets 0 points, he will be 118 points above me. So
gotcha.
It is what it is. Just won't be as exciting as a finale. But
still gonna be a fun race. It always is at Bathurst, right? I mean, you just another huge feat that I want to congratulate you on. Unbelievable doing 12 hours straight solo at Bathurst over the weekend on Saturday. Fantastic work there, man. I think you probably would have won that race except for that unfortunate incident that wasn't entirely your fault. And that's just racing sometimes, right?
Yeah. But that was a fun race. I got all the practice I can possibly need for Bathurst.
Yeah, you don't have to practice for the take Christmas off for real.
Shouldn't go. If that race does go badly, then something is wrong.
Yeah.
We need to have the FBI make sure that there wasn't anybody else in your house helping you drive through that 12 hours at Bathurst. My fingers were hurting after just driving 3 stints. I think you did it through 12 hours.
Yeah, fantastic job, man.
It was fun. I appreciate it.
Fantastic job tonight too. Don't feel bad about finishing fourth with these bunch of guys, especially with that overtake on. I think that's the pass of the season, man. That was fantastic.
Absolutely. That has my vote. That was wild.
And we will hopefully see some more action from you in our final race, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. Hope to see you again.
Sweet, man. We will move you back to your race chat. Have a good night.
Thank you too.
Well, that's it, folks. Unbelievable to get to talk to Michael Manning after, geez, I mean, just the dedication that guy has to the sport of sim racing right now is incredible. And big thanks to Andrew. Had to duck out a little bit early tonight. He's got an early morning tomorrow. So big thanks to Andrew Anderson. Maxie, your concluding thoughts on this wild ride of a race?
Man, even after talking to our top finishers here, I'm not sure I've had a chance to wrap my mind around it, but just the importance of pit stops. Everybody always just thinks, oh, everybody's running the same pit stop. They don't understand the intricacies of hitting your pit box, going through the pit lane at the right speeds. And at the end of the day, that is what decided our race tonight.
Absolutely.
It just, the small details matters so much at this high level. That's my final thought. The small details matter the most.
No doubt. The pit strategy is king, and we will see what kind of strategies lie ahead for us in our final race of the season here. In a couple weeks, we will go to Bathurst, and we will see our championship is concluded with Travis Nordstrom as our D1 champion this season, season 9. But we will still have all of it to fight for the race win, because these drivers, they don't care. They want to win the race. So we will see what they have action-packed for us in the next one. And a big thanks to you, Maxie, for your work tonight. Thanks again to Andrew. And we got just a few other people to give thanks to. As we get ready to close things out tonight, I want to give a big thanks to our SRA sponsors and title sponsors for all their support here at SRA, as well as support from Documise, a modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more today. We also have support from Retro Saga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favorite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. Big thank you to our affiliate sponsors as well, Track Racer, Armentario, and Go Setups. All three tools to enhance your race to the next level. If you want to battle it out with these D1 guys, you got to get some of the equipment to do so. You can bet every one of them is running every tool they can to get the advantage over Ed Kerstetter, Travis Nordstrom, and everybody else who's battling for the championship, as Ed Kerstetter gets replaced as our SRA Division 1 champion, and he gives up the number 1 on his car for next season. We will see you next time, folks. Thanks again.